What's going on, Nerd Nation? This is Sleevecard signing in, and today, guys, let's get to know each other a little bit better. So this weekend, guys, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and if you haven't checked it out yet, it is definitely worth a view. I'm not going to spoil anything for you in the video, so don't, stress out too much, but check it out, of course. I can tell you that overall, I enjoyed the whole movie. I really think it built upon not Volume 1, but I think it really built upon the first movie, like, in a great way. The characters still develop out. It still had all the humor that you were looking for, all that great stuff. And, of course, somebody back at Disney headquarters is just, high-fiving themselves over the merchandising genius that is Baby Groot. I almost said merchandising. I don't know what merchandising is, but merchandising. Somebody there has just, created a cash cow out of Baby Groot, and they get all the promotion that they deserve. But that being said, guys, there is one small detail that drives me crazy about this movie, and it's not even that big of a deal because I kind of agree with them, but I cannot wholeheartedly agree. And of course, that is the fact that at one point, and I'm not going to tell you which character, again, not to spoil anything, but at one point in the movie, one of the main characters calls the song Brandy by Looking Glass the greatest musical compilation, the greatest musical masterpiece of mankind. And don't get me wrong, it's a good song, but the greatest, guys, the greatest musical masterpiece in the entire history of mankind. That is stretching it a little bit. I mean, let's be honest here. Have you heard of Bohemian Rhapsody? By who? By who? Have you heard of Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen? Have you... I mean... Like I said, don't get me wrong, but a song by a one-hit wonder like Looking Glass, that is what you're banking on as the number one song of all mankind. There's so many songs out there, guys. So many songs that deserve the number one spot. So let's just take a look at them together. Like I said, Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody. I won't even count anything past 1980, and not because they're bad songs, but the movie itself begins in 1980, so let's assume that they don't know any of the newer songs, the newer hits. But Bohemian Rhapsody came out in 1975, guys. That's not to even mention, have you heard of Stairway to Heaven? It comes with a recorder solo. The freaking crappy flute that people learn how to play, in elementary school, is in Stairway to Heaven, along with lyrics highlighting Lord of the Rings. There's no way that Brandy can top that. In fact, in 2011, guys, Rolling Stone made a list of the 500 top songs of all time, what they consider the top songs. You know what the number one song was? It wasn't Brandy. It was Rolling Stone, Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan. Where was Brandy? On this list of 500 songs that were supposed to be the greatest songs of all time? Nowhere. Unlisted. Which, again, isn't to say that it is a bad song. It's a great song. I love the song. I find it super catchy. But is it the greatest? The single greatest song? No. Not by a long shot. And speaking of recorder solos on Stairway to Heaven, what about the fact that probably one of the real candidates for the greatest song in all of mankind history, the 1812 Overture by Tchaikovsky, comes with a freaking cannon solo. A solo of cannon fire. How do you top that? A huge orchestra that ends with cannons being fired off. That is above and beyond probably anything that not just Earthlings, but, anybody has made. That's amazing. And I know what you're thinking. James Gunn, the director, he has a right to his own favorite song, but to call it the greatest song in all of mankind, come on now, that's just irresponsible. Like I said, you have the 1812 Overture, you have a whole library of stuff from the Beatles. You know, you have Abbey Road right here. You have all kinds of amazing bands that have been releasing songs for years. I wouldn't even call it the best song named after a person. Because, once again, you know, you have Brandy, but have you heard of Lola by the Kinks? That is without a doubt the best song named after a person. Because you drink champagne and it tastes just like cherry cola. Like, you drink champagne, it tastes like cherry cola, which is clearly one of the top 5 soft drinks of all time. The other 4, in case you're wondering, go in no particular order, actually. But the other 4 are obviously Dr. Pepper, root beer, cream soda, and Mountain Dew of any flavor, but particularly Voltage. Like I said, overall, guys, I enjoyed the movie. And in fact, speaking of music, because it is obviously very sentimental and holds a lot of history for mankind. Speaking of music, I also found out this weekend that Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back turned 25 this weekend. 25 years old. And that means something to me, not because I think it's the greatest song of all time, because it might be to some people, but definitely not to me. There's something about realizing a song is, or realizing the song that you thought your entire life was old, like, that song is so old, it's ancient, all this stuff, and realizing that it's actually younger than you, that's kind of a scary thought. So, I had to come to grips this weekend that at some point in my life, I was on this earth when Sir Mix-a-Lot's career was actually identified as on the rise, or the fact that his greatest, achievements hadn't even occurred yet. And honestly, it's kind of scary. It does make you feel a little old. There's something very old about finding out that, Sir Mix-a-Lot achieved amazing things after you were born. And speaking about being scary old, which, I like to think that I'm not scary old at, the ripe age of 26, but there's also something kind of haunting about the fact that there are high schoolers right now who are graduating, not this year, but I believe next year. Next year's batch of seniors for class of 2018 will actually not have been alive in a pre-9/11 world. So it's something kind of frightening to think that, we have this major historical event that still seems very fresh and very recent to a lot of people, and you have people out there that weren't alive during it. We had a whole generation pass since this huge event that actually still shapes our country, and a lot of politics and a lot of decisions that we make as a country are still shaped by an event that the next batch of these decision makers weren't even alive for. So it's kind of a frightening thought out there. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. That's just what's on my mind right this second. I've been thinking I'll probably do this once, twice a week, just to kind of dump everything off my mind. And tell you what I'm thinking about. And then, of course, you guys can always comment down below about what you're thinking about. What your thoughts are. Tell me you tell me what is definitively the greatest song of all time. How do you feel about being old, or relatively old even? So like I said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Have yourselves a beautiful day. I'm sorry that this video is a little, choppy, because this is literally me. I sat down in front of the camera, thought about some things that were on my mind, decided to dump them out, unrehearsed, unscripted, and I kind of hope it comes together in editing, because I feel like I'm rambling. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Of course, be tuned, because after this I will be recording our usual Pokemon videos to upload as well. So if this wasn't your cup of tea, there is Pokemon for you. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Have yourselves a beautiful day, and I will see you later.